See, it tells you that stuff now.
So nobody can like sue Zoom when their dick is out in
Right.
classroom meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to Aural Hygiene. It's the podcast where we talk about educational films, experimental caught films, interesting documentaries, things like that. This is Matt. Hello, Mark Malek, who's here.
Hello.
Or you're there.
Here I am.
How many
There I am.
how many powers of 10 away are you from me?
Like 3?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. We're
I think,
not
right? 10,000 miles ish.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's like 3, right?
Oh yeah,
Is that 4?
you're actually thinking this through. That's
Oh,
cool.
I'm thinking of miles. That was the film is in meters, so I'm completely wrong. I don't know how many.
Oh, if we do it in meters, that could be more fun. Okay. I mean, you quickly get into kilometers and bigger things and astronomical units. In this powers of 10 movie,
we'll say 4.1 powers
4.21 gigawatts. What?
Yeah, no, that's completely not what's in that movie, but no.
Right. What is in this movie called Powers of 10 by the Eames brothers?
Powers of 10. Wow, math sure is crazy, ain't it? Things go real fast when you are exponentially going faster.
Where are you going?
Outward and then inward.
Right.
First, you examine the earth around you, and then you examine the relationship you have with your parents. That doesn't actually happen in the film.
It could have. Yeah, I guess that's the explanation.
You don't ask yourself, first you ask yourself what's wrong with the universe, then you ask yourself what's wrong with you, man.
Yeah.
What are you doing to exponentially make your life worse?
Well, I mean, it's not like the Disney ride where, and then something horribly goes wrong. This one basically just goes way on out and way on in.
Yeah, it was kind of startlingly fast overall, I'd say.
Yeah, I think I can't remember, it was 77 or 79 that this one was made. So, I mean, not that has any bearing on anything, but I first saw this as I wrote bopping around in a San Fran museum in 2003, and it stuck in my head, right? So,
I had not seen this before.
I don't remember how I searched it out, but what is it? I guess it's a museum film. It's kind of an art film, but yeah, it's more like a science. I saw it in a science museum, so I assume it's a science museum film.
I think I was kind of bothering you to do some kind of relativity, like quantum physics type things, and this is, definitely in that realm.
This breaks the laws of physics, though, by going way past the speed of light.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, so there's that, because it takes, like 2 minutes to get to the edge of the universe?
Well, you don't have to, turns out we don't have to travel the speed of light. We just have to travel the speed of a camera lens, man.
Yeah, camera lenses are faster than light.
The camera lens.
Physics, laws of physics are just there to make you not notice all the crazy shit that goes on. All the cool stuff breaks the laws of physics.
Yeah, like air travel.
Right. Expansion.
You're not supposed to be there. You're not supposed to be in Japan.
Right.
You're not supposed to be there, man. Your ancestors weren't even supposed to have met.
Right. Okay.
Mine neither.
But the expansion thing where like, oh, well, after the Big Bang, everything moved faster than the speed of light. It's like, well, you can't say that if you say nothing moves faster than the speed of light.
That is true. It's we're still kind of in the early stages of understanding that stuff, even if, as much as we're able to make a bomb out of it really quickly, but we still don't really understand. We don't understand how all that stuff works that well.
How many people on Earth truly understand the theory of relativity now?
1%. I don't know. That's a good question.
I feel like several million. That's pretty good.
I feel like it's less than 50% of the people who I know can even spell relativity. Just kidding. For all my friends who are listening,
they're going to be storming your citadel.
You bastard.
Yeah.
It's okay. You don't have to spell it.
Podcast.
You don't have to spell.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to pretend that 50% of my friends would listen to a podcast that someone would be on that they know. uh, it's funny because it's true.
Anyway, I think Einstein was like, oh, only there's like 5 people on the planet that truly understand it, right? But he said that in like the 50s, so maybe a few more people do now.
I
Can you
found
understand the theory of relativity without being able to spell it? The word, I mean.
sure. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain intelligences that could do that. So
Yeah, I don't want to
you
come
can
on
tell
here to
them
be.
that as their
I don't want to come on here to be ableist. You know, you can be dyslexic and understand relativity.
right. Anyway, in terms of this movie, we start at this lame picnic. There's no alcohol. Dude's passing out. Well, maybe he
It's
went
like
to the bar and then
weirdly
they.
seems like weirdly horny, but I guess that's just the 70s. Everything was like that.
The 70s were horny, man.
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
everybody's kind of
you
like
wrote
bronze and shiny.
something about that, didn't you?
I
Like
wrote
what
your
this is.
picnic is ruined in 1 second because it's now completely insignificant.
Oh, okay. I was getting on the horny end, but yeah.
I don't think I
I mean,
wrote
you're
anything about that.
this has to be close to the place with the pizza pot pie, though.
Or maybe it's Chicago. I mean, relative to where you are 1 second later, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, that's cool because it
I
looked
mean,
more affluent, right? Probably the
relative to 10 seconds later, you're inside the pizza pot pie, basically. You're
yeah.
on the
That's where
inside. You are the
they
same
should have
person.
based this film on a pizza pot pie instead, and at the end we'd be like entering the pizza pot pie. The
Wow, that
pizza
would have
pot,
been amazing. I don't know if
yeah.
they had one of those in 77 though.
I bet that seems like a super '70s sort of restaurant, man.
It did, but it's just I think Chicago. I love Chicago. It's a very 70s type of place. It feels 70s.
There's
Everything
a there,
does.
there's an Italian place close to me called it's called Carrot, right? And it has a since 1983 sign on it, and when you go in, it looks exactly like 1983. I mean, it's
Nice.
clean. It's not like fall, and then it's clean. It's not falling apart. It's I mean, I guess there's maybe the colors aren't quite as vibrant as they may have been from sun damage, but it looks like yeah,
Let's say
like that.
Japan, much like Japan looks, a lot of Japan looks like the past, a lot like Chicago does, I guess. Just place with history. But also, I live in a place where everything has just been torn down and replaced.
Yeah,
Probably whenever you come back here, you won't recognize any of it.
correct. I realized I don't think I have my mental maps of the areas anymore either.
Go on Google Earth and have some fun
I've
with
done
that.
that. Well, I'm not gonna. I
Uh,
don't care. I mean, yeah.
you need to get the VR, man. You get the VR in the Google Earth, and you can be like inside the Earth, just like Powers of
Did
10.
they actually refer to this as the Middle West?
I missed that.
I made a note starting from the Middle West, are we? So I'm guessing I wrote that because I said it. No one ever talks about the Midwest, Middle West, the
Maybe
Middle
that's
West. Midwest is fine, but
maybe that's a an archaic term now.
yeah, yeah. So I just thought that was funny because
70s.
it's like there's the Middle East, but there's the '70s it, in a completely different universe. So I guess technically it is. So
Chicago is exactly
let's
one
see.
power of 10 away from Saudi Arabia.
And then we see the whole Earth sphere. I said the Earth sphere looks fake as hell. That means we must live on a flat plane.
Yeah, I miss that being funny. Mm.
We only have like it's not that funny. It just is. It's just clearly not. I mean, we
It
only have
was
like
funny.
that one photo. We only have that one complete photo of the Earth. Like everything else is like a composite.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
Mm.
so that's kind of weird because it's that Apollo blue marble photo that is legit, and everything else is BS.
Well,
They
it's
said
effects. Effects are legitimate. It felt like a solid representation. I wasn't thinking to myself at any point during this film like, "Oh man, that galaxy's so fake." I can't believe they expect us to believe that we're outside the galaxy.
Yeah, really. I mean, come on. James Cameron gets this kind of footage.
Yeah, he has to go to the Avatar planet. Wait, what is it? Namco? What is
Yeah,
that
that's right.
planet called? Bandai Namco?
We were just
Pandora? Is that it?
I, Yeah, I think
Man, they should have called that movie Pandora.
no, Papyrus.
Papyrus? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Papyrus, of course.
Then I wrote, they actually talk about Venus. I wrote, Venus is the penis planet swinging wide into greater orbits.
My head just ended up getting turned around backwards, and I was just like, wait, we're going too fast. Like,
You
whoa,
can hit,
hold on.
you can hit the pause and start, going like slow motion if you want. Of course, then you
Wait,
get a
really?
50. I guess you could do that. Slow it down if you felt like it.
That's a joke.
But then
I
it would
know that,
make your
but I didn't. But I didn't though.
it would have made it like 50. Sorry, I just woke up. I don't
That's
understand
okay.
sarcasm anymore. I've lost my sarcasm meters because
It's okay. We all spend too much time on the internet.
we just don't do it in Japan. Let's see.
Wait,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
I guess there isn't any sarcasm in Japan.
right.
That also blows my mind.
Yeah. So I've completely lost my propensity for it. Um,
Wow.
but then I do like that there's like blood feast organ as you're going through the cosmos.
Yeah.
This,
I mean, it's pretty if you think about the existential implications of the whole thing, it is like terrifying. It was like overwhelming. Probably more overwhelming than the inner part of it, which was also kind of overwhelming, but not
well, that was
not the
very
same not the
underwhelming.
same way.
Very, very, very underwhelming because it's
Well,
so small.
you're still in Chicago the whole time.
Exactly. So,
You're
these
still in the
this
Middle West.
this is the documentary that can't see the stars for the trees. Yeah. It's
Well,
too bad we didn't get a shout out to the USS Voyager as we crossed the Milky Way.
I just started watching it like literally today. I just started watching that show.
Okay, coming off of Deep Space Nine, it's a little iffy. It's got some good ones, but it's
It would
definitely more milk toast.
it feels a lot more like, hey, this is Star Trek. We're gonna cram a bunch of Star Trek into your Star Trek. However, gotta say, ending of Deep Space Nine, uh, kind of dumb. It was weird. I ended up loving the war stuff, but like the Pa Wraith, like seriously, like do we seriously have like just like good versus evil aliens like shooting lasers at each other?
I haven't gotten to the end yet, so
Oh,
I mean, I
sorry.
mean,
I
I, I
thought
mean,
you'd
like,
already watched it.
oh, I saw like 10 years plus,
Oh.
but it's not like I haven't seen it. I just haven't seen it recently, and I don't quite remember what happened. So, what you said didn't really ruin anything. I mean, Star Trek had a laser battle. Sometimes it does, not as much as Star
There
Wars, but
there's great like war stuff. I usually hate war stuff. I don't care about the war stuff in Star Wars, but the war stuff in Deep Space Nine I loved. So I can't even explain that really.
how about the third Matrix movie?
Hated it. I hated
Okay,
all of it.
okay, just curious. I don't.
Uh,
I actually,
but that
that's a case where I don't hate the sequels completely. I mean, I understand they're
but
not as good, but
but the thing about the third Matrix movie is that the antagonist is entirely just a bunch of like CGI gear patterns flying around squid gears.
yeah,
You know,
that's
it
true.
was I don't really care for a faceless antagonist except for that whatever that Tom Cruise movie is called was pretty good
Faceless
because
protagonist.
faceless protagonist. No,
Uh,
end of living, die, repeat of tomorrow
oh,
of
live, die,
all you
repeat.
need is
All you need is
live,
kill.
die, and kill and repeat in Edge of Tomorrow. That
Oh
was
shit.
kind of cool because it had some good character stuff for the
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to find my Blu-ray of that one actually does say all you need is kill. Because that's the only real title, isn't it? Not the
yeah,
yeah,
it would
here
have
you go.
probably done so much better aside from that.
Here, I don't think anyone actually watches these, but yeah, see here. Now that's how you make it look awesome.
Nice. Yeah,
It's my
I heard they want to make a sequel, but somebody said it was too expensive. So I guess they're
well
not.
they need when they need to launder enough drug money, they can make the sequel.
Yeah.
That was our talk
When,
yesterday about
when
that's how Hollywood works, right? They're all just laundering drug money all the time.
I think Scientology has its own special rules. It's just like when they find the lady in the basement, then it's probably all over for them.
They'll probably find more than one in the basement. Um,
Yeah.
they didn't back to the powers of 10.
Hmm.
They didn't put us on the edge of the Milky Way. They had us in like a central location, which that doesn't work.
That that is true. It's just I think it's just this thing where the symmetry is so much easier to make it. It felt a lot more like an exercise in visuals than
Yeah.
it was almost like too fast to be educational. And I figure that probably the case is that someone was like, you can only hold someone's attention for like 4 minutes, so you have to go this fast.
But yeah, so I get
It's
it's as
it feels
above, so
strange.
below.
Yeah, it feels very strange to critique something from the 70s as moving too fast for me to take it in, but that is how it felt.
We get into the sleeping dude, you know. Where is he though? He's not anywhere in this zoom out. He's sleeping. He's in the land of Nod, which
He
is
has to
not
be
in this
asleep.
universe.
They put him they put him out so they could go inside of his skin.
Right. So we all get ugly when you look up close, don't we?
It was very white for a minute or very beige. And
Yeah.
then it was very weird and jittery.
Now, if they made this film now, I guess I would try and get Quantum.
I feel like they might, but also I think it would look worse if they made it now, frankly.
It would look worse. It would just all be CG, you know.
So there's some connection between there was like an Eames logo when this started. I was like, is that the same company who made all the fancy expensive chairs? Like that's what it seemed like from a 1 second internet search. You know what I'm talking about?
Possibly.
The furniture that you can't afford.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I mean, again, if you keep in mind their modernist stylist seems to make sense that they'd make this.
That's just really cool that you can make a chair and then you can make this documentary with.
Eames lounge chair. I'm just pulling up a photo because I think I saw your notes when I was on the train or something.
You'll
Yeah.
probably you'll probably remember like one friend you had one time having one chair in their house like that. Like, I don't think I've ever met someone who had an entire set of those, but maybe
Right.
somebody has. Maybe it's the one friend of mine who's listening to the podcast will let me know that they have a full set.
Yeah, their main jam was furniture, it seems. It's Charles and Ray Eames, with Ray being his wife. Ray's the
Oh, okay.
lady. That's
That that
interesting.
that that was a plot twist.
They also worked in the fields of industrial and graphic design, fine art, and film. Okay. So they were creative
Nice.
partners. So that's yeah, you follow your bliss, I guess. So you know they got into some weird stuff.
That's pretty cool. I don't recall ever really having seen a film that was made by someone who was known for designing furniture. I don't know. Unless I'm
See,
just missing unless maybe Salvador Dali made a chair or something. I don't know.
here's a
He
cool one.
probably did.
There's the IBM Mathematics Peep Show.
Hmm? I,
They got
that
they
sounds
built it
vaguely familiar.
right. Anyway, they got lots of yeah. They made a ton of movies. Okay. Powers of 10 was made in 1968, released in 1977. That's interesting. So we were actually looking at the 60s.
Oh, well someone commented on the YouTube video that it was a remake, but I couldn't find anything about it. So probably whoever said it was a remake just didn't understand that it was a reissue.
Okay. Let's see. The first film, a rough sketch for a proposed film dealing with the powers of 10, the relative size of things in the universe, was a prototype and completed in 1968. The second film, Powers of 10, a film dealing with the relative size of the blah, blah, was completed in 1977.
So it's a sequel?
And these are adaptations of the book Cosmic View. No, it's kind of like a
Hmm.
completion.
Okay.
Like the first one's just a sketch version, and this is a final version. I have not seen the sketch version, so I could
Interesting.
I should probably do this before I'm like actually on the clock, so to speak. But let's see.
Do
Though
the
they actually
prequel.
they did play the first one in a museum as well, and yeah, this is straight up a museum film. Speed increases.
It feels like something you might see in class, but it also feels like something that's so short that it does actually feel like a museum piece, because if you go back to the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, you would, if you were
Well, yeah,
showing something in your class, you'd have to like queue up the film and all that. So you probably wouldn't want to do that for something that was just a few minutes.
you want at least 15 minutes out of this shit. Yeah.
But
Although
it
there
could loop at a museum, and that would make sense.
actually there are some. I'd say a lot of the elementary school or the films pointed to elementary students do run about 10 minutes a lot of the time because I'm trying to remember how we watch films because yeah, and you too, and in the first second grade they were definitely running that old school 8 millimeter projector or 16 or whatever it was.
Yeah, we both went to DeKalb County, so they had like the least amount of money. I think I took driver's ed in 1993, and they were definitely showing some films for that.
Oh yeah, those were awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I wish I could find that one I was talking about with the railroad tracks.
Yeah, keep on the search, I guess. Here's one I'll run by you that I have a fading memory of. Does this ring a bell? It's kids being transported into a desert and there's a giant big top.
Maybe.
Hey, if anyone's listening, that sounds like something. I would have seen that in like 1985, and I'm guessing the film is probably like late 70s, early 80s vintage.
Well, the good thing about doing the series, or not series, this podcast about the films that you're doing it about, is that eventually you're going to be attracting attention of people who like know everything about all of them. The film I'm looking for, future listener, is there was a film that was specifically about railroad track crossings, and a man was on the railroad tracks with his family, and the train was coming, and the man is just like, well, the train's just gonna have to wait until I can move my car, and then the train hits the car and it explodes.
Hey,
That's what I want.
I think I've seen this. The Cosmic Voyage, a loose remake of Powers of Ten in IMAX form for the National Air and Space
Whoa,
Museum. I feel like that's gotta blow your mind, man. And then of course,
nice.
it's just also mentioning the opening zoom in Contact, which yeah, that's similar too, I guess. Is in
So
but saying it specifically was inspired by this movie. So
the last time I was at the Air and Space Museum, I saw they were showing at the planetarium for, I guess, the first time. They were showing they're projecting a type of film that just took up all of the area of the planetarium, so the video was just all over the place, and it was about like background radiation.
did it have like yeah, I've actually seen that in Japan. They have one
Cool.
for it was for we saw like Drymon that way. It was like Drymon goes, travels through time as he usually does. You know Drymon?
It was Drymon again. Is that a Pokemon?
No,
Is that a dry
no,
Pokemon?
no. He's considered to be the Mickey Mouse of Japan. He's a robot cat from the future that doesn't have ears.
I'm sure if I saw that, I would recognize it. I'd recognize Ampamon. I recognize the egg. What's the egg called? The depressed egg. You know what I'm talking
Oh,
about?
geez. Gutama.
Yeah, Gutama.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a bunch of those in skill UFO skill cranes at the round one. So I'm like, well,
Oh,
when
okay. No, I mean, Drymon's way more popular than Gutama. He's on Ampamon level, although most people listening to this don't understand what Ampamon level means. I actually am planning to do an Ampamon episode for this soon, but
nice.
it might be like fully in Japanese. I have to show it to someone who definitely doesn't know Ampamon.
You should yeah, do it fully in Japanese and then subtitle in English so we could
Oh, I
all.
don't think, no, I don't think I can find the subtitles. It seems
Yeah,
it's just,
someone makes subtitle. No, the subtitle of your podcast. Oh, you're talking about the show would be. I thought you were talking about doing a podcast completely in Japanese.
no, I can't handle that.
Sorry.
No, 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 no,
you
no.
will, you will someday. You'll get there.
The Ampamon episode is completely in Japanese, but
I will not.
no. Anyway, they're like 20 minutes, they're not that long. uh
I've definitely was watching Super Milk Chan when it aired in the US, which it had a bunch of Japanese pop culture and jokes that they just translated to English, and
and then
we just laughed at it anyway.
Crayon Shinchan. Is that
Hmm?
that's yeah, they
It's just called Shin-chan here, but yeah,
okay.
I
Anyway,
know
cuz
exactly.
that has really dirty jokes, right?
Yeah, it does. They put it on Adult Swim, I think.
Yeah, because kids watch in Japan because they didn't translate a lot of those jokes. They just made dirty jokes.
Okay. Sure, why not? I mean,
Like,
it sounds like a brilliant marketing strategy.
yeah, like apparently it's a lot dirtier in English than it is in Japanese. Unlike, say, Battleship Yamato, which is much dirtier in Japanese because it has like the robot grabbing ass the whole time and stuff.
I know there's definitely some like Dragon Ball Z stuff that I saw in the Japanese version that should not have. I wish I hadn't even seen.
When like there's Mr. Satan, it's fun.
That's not. Yeah, there's just straight up like boob grabs, like unsolicited like sexual assault in that show,
The,
and it's just like, wow,
yeah,
that's
Space
funny.
Battleship Yamato has a bit of that too. So,
Yeah.
so the American cut, and then they cut out anyone being killed, which doesn't make sense in a sci-fi space opera, but whatever.
I think they did that even to Dragon Ball until like the late 90s, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because the first time I watched Dragon Ball Z, I had no idea what was going on because they took all references to dead. There's a character who's just dead for like a year, and they're just like, he's training in another dimension, which didn't make any sense, really. So
Your dog Spot's not dead. He's just training in another dimension.
it was
It's
just
like
really confusing.
it's like a
And then yeah, people kept threatening each other by being like, I'm going to send you to another dimension, which doesn't make any sense unless you understand that another dimension means dead. Uh,
I feel like that's threatening enough. I'm gonna send you to another dimension.
I guess, but if you think about it, like 60% of sci-fi is someone getting sent to another dimension with no consequences.
Right.
Like, doesn't Voyager kind of get sent to it? I guess not another dimension, but
The
another
same
quadrant,
dimension. Yeah.
with no real consequences.
Yeah. Um anyway, as for Powers of 10, blew your mind, I guess, too quickly. It was like
Too quick. I don't want to. I don't want to critique it for being too quick, but watch it. Watch it a few times if you haven't
yeah,
watched it.
maybe
If you
more
haven't
once.
watched it, then you should watch it before listening to the podcast. But it's too late now.
It is, it's an art piece. I mean, again, it's an art piece made by people that design furniture. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it's great as an art piece. I would honestly, it'd be
And
pretty
the,
cool to have that on looping at a party.
in architecture too, the Eames house is pretty trippy and old school futurism. So
Yeah, someday. I mean, someday when we're allowed to have parties again, which in Georgia we've always been able to have parties. Nobody cares. You know, um, it'd be nice to have this on this conversation piece.
right. Um, are you did you ever put music on your hoopty?
When is this airing?
I don't know, like late June, early July.
Well, you can probably find the film Snowblind, which I've scored on the internet. It's playing at the Chattanooga Film Festival, which is virtual in the end of June, but I think it'll be available elsewhere sometime during the summer. You can catch me doing a panel at the Southern Fried Gaming Expo if you live in Atlanta, or if you're going to Atlanta for that, the weekend of August 20th.
That one should be legit. Yeah.
And music will be up at some point, but I'm still kind of in the process of putting everything back together.
Okay, this is Aural Hygiene Pod. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We actually are on YouTube, but this is the first time I've ever done anything in promoting it whatsoever. So the way I see, if I actually watched one of these podcasts, I'd quit posting the video.
I look really tired. Sorry, YouTube. I am
Yeah,
really tired.
that's cool. But yeah. Again, I never watch one, so I've watched
I would
zero of
not.
my podcasts. But
I would not watch my own podcast.
some people do it that way, right? So that's cool.
Mhm.
Like I say, I'm walking around in fields, so YouTube eats your battery, and it doesn't make sense because you're not watching it. So
Yeah, I'll start watching my own podcast whenever I get a ring light. I'll just start a GoFundMe for that sometime. The ring light to make you look better. You know what I
okay,
mean?
yeah,
The thing.
yeah. I kind of know what a ring light is.
That thing. That
I'm clear.
it's a ring. It's a light.
I'm clearly not using one on myself, But
You look better than I do. I don't know how to do lighting when I'm just living somewhere else right now. So
you can't do that. Okay, well, I'm going to send you into another dimension.
Ah!